As a lifelong superhero fan, there are few movies that mean more to me than 1989's Batman. Now, this was Tim Burton's unique take on an already established character, obviously super famous through the golden age of the comics, but had never really been given the big screen treatment other than the 1966 film by Adam West. And that's all that really the main street, pop culture knew about Batman was, campy pals and splats and silly costumes. And I mean, the silly costumes don't really go away, but what Tim Burton gave us was a much more grounded and gritty, and you're going to hear that a lot with anybody that talks about Batman. Count how many times I say gritty in this review. But anyway, he brought things down a little bit. The color was gone. Everything was black and gray. He gave Gotham a real personality that lived up to its name. I mean, it was just a dreary, kind of scary. All of the inhabitants, especially the criminals, look really downtrodden and sickly and gross. But it felt like a world that had been lived in. Like most people, when you think about Batman, when you think about music, I mean, this score is legendary, and it's what comes to mind. But after this amazing score, they have you on the edge of your seat. You're juiced, and then we cut to this family. And it gives us a minute to really live in this world and feel bad for these people when they are eventually accosted by the criminals. And again, Tim Burton spends a few minutes just setting up this world so that Batman can come to the rescue. And he didn't have to do that. He could have just shown the criminals on the roof, counting money. We would have filled in the blanks. But by giving us that real experience, he takes moments to bring this place, this world to life.
Story straight down. There wasn't no blood in the body.
No shit. It was all over the pavement.
Get that here, man.
Jack Nicholson is underrated, and I know that's crazy to say, but people have almost forgotten how amazing he was.
You see what I have to work with here.
You needed that. You needed that, especially when you cast Michael Keaton as Batman, because, again, surprise, surprise, we have a controversial Batman casting.
Driving fans of the Caped Crusader, Batty.
Excessive in his anger and fixation on revenge. But will he be portrayed that way in a new movie from Warner Brothers coming out in June? Many hardcore fans are afraid he won't. They have been writing hundreds of letters to Warner Brothers since they found out about the man cast as Batman.
The controversy is whether an actor like Michael Keaton, best known for roles like Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice, can pull off the part of the Caped Crusader.
I think that he's kind of a wimp.
It don't seem that it's right, that you should have a smaller man playing as a Batman.
Well, I'd rather see Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I think Arnold Keaton would be good too.
He needs some muscles on him.
I would have liked to seen a sexier person, a more macho man.
He's doing it for revenge. His parents got offed, they cacked him, he's cheesed. He's gonna go out, he's gonna kick the crap out of people. He could use a little therapy.
It's not like us fans do this every time and then we regret it because they always knock it out of the park. I mean, you look at every single casting, save maybe one or two, and they've been phenomenal in the role, and we've always roasted them, and this was no different. When they announced Michael Keaton, there are reels and reels and reels of people just roasting the casting choice. Does that sound familiar? I mean, I'm guilty as a fan myself of doing it, because they always find a way to reimagine the character while at the same time usually holding on to those core elements. So Batman is such a unique character in that way. We, again, have about 5 or 6 really good renditions of the character.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
They all have their own personalities. Some are better as Bruce and shit as Batman.
You never give it to an ordinary citizen. Where is it? Where's the trigger?
some are the opposite, you know, and there are a few that just, I feel like, really nailed both. And Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne is fine. He's okay. Definitely way more awkward than I would want my Bruce Wayne to be, but still he's charming. Okay, he's definitely still charming in his own way. Pretty aggressive towards women, especially by today's standards, but you know, never downright abusive by any means. So, but anyway, I digress. But I thought that Keaton brought a believability to the role because it's not going to be some beefcake out there masquerading as Batman. It is going to be the weirdo who sleeps upside down, even though it would kill him, and he puts on a Batman costume and goes out and fights crime. Listen, I know I'm not the first person to say that this movie is more of a Joker origin tale than it is a Batman origin tale. It's, you know, he's Batman 2 or 3, maybe 4 years in. You can tell he's still new. His reputation is spreading, but he has no relationship with Commissioner Gordon. We don't see that till the very, very, very end with the reveal of the Bat's signal. But so again, you know that he's in the early parts of his Bat Crusade, but the Joker, this is he's the character that goes on the journey from, you know, Jack Napier. You know, so they retcon Batman's origin. It's not some random thug. It is one of, you know, the big heads of the family by the end of it. Jack Napier is, you know, number 2 in the Grissom crime family.
Nice outfit.
We've got Michael Keaton as Batman. We've got Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. She's okay. I mean, these movies really never really nail the love interest, and she's kind of forgettable other than the fact that she just falls in love with Bruce Wayne remarkably quick. You've got Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon. He was in for a couple of the sequels. Billy D. Williams, you know, our freaking Lando. I wish he would have stuck around for a couple sequels, but he was supposed to be our Two-Face. That ended up never happening because of you know, what happened with Batman Returns. But anyway, and then you've got obviously the amazing undisputed champ of Alfred, Michael Gough, and also Jack Palance as Grissom before he gets iced. Again, just having another seasoned veteran out there with Jack Nicholson kind of chewing the scenery a little bit was wonderful, and they share a couple of really good scenes together. So absolutely love him as well. But again, the cast is amazing. The direction, Tim Burton, if this is absolutely one of his best movies, this is probably my favorite Tim Burton movie. Again, but I'm a huge comic book fan, so that's not surprising. I have to touch on the score by Danny Elfman again. Obviously, this is what you think of when you think of Batman. And he became sort of a titan of the superhero industry because he also made the iconic Spider-Man score from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Going back and watching the movie now, it is fun to look at the physical limitations of the Batsuit. This is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, versions of the Batsuit. But again, it's very apparent for the longer you watch how restrictive and difficult it was for Michael Keaton to move around. Again, there are a couple scenes where you might laugh out loud watching it now, but you can see that it also gives Batman sort of a weird vibe to him. The way he moves is off. The way he stands around is a little weird. Obviously, the way he fights is very minimalist. He kind of stands back, waits for his moment, then he strikes. And again, it fits the character. That's what Batman does. Batman's not flamboyant. Batman's not all showy. He is about incapacitating the enemy and getting to his goal. And I think in that sense, it really works. The combat works. What little we do get. We don't get a lot of action, but when we do see Batman kick ass, I do think it works. I think it still works. Can't talk about Batman 1989 without talking about the iconic Batmobile. It's so iconic and beloved that they're using it for the teaser trailers for the Flash movie that's about to come out in a few weeks. You know, it was one of the first big teases for Keaton's ultimate reveal and involvement in the movie was teasing the Batmobile. I mean, we've seen, again, half dozen really awesome versions of the Batmobile, some not so awesome versions of the Batmobile. but this is the definitive one. When you're comparing whether this Batmobile is good and that one's good, everybody's comparing it to this one. This is the definitive one. It might just be because it was the first, like, really badass looking one that we all saw. I mean, again, no disrespect to the Adam West era, but this was a freaking beast of a machine. It had machine guns, it had bombs, it had shields. It could be worked by a remote control. I mean, again, it felt like a sidekick to Batman. So, totally badass design, totally badass Batmobile. I love it.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
How do you talk about this movie and not talk about Prince? There are two standout moments where his songs get to shine. Obviously, you have the iconic Party Man dance sequence in the art gallery.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
With the Joker running around defacing all the art pieces, and then Batman gets the grand entrance with a little back and forth, and then we have the, the iconic line.
Get those wonderful toys.
And then we have the end of the movie. The end of the movie is capped off with, again, yet another Prince song with Trust. And it fits, again, what Joker's trying to do in that moment, gain the trust of Gotham to make Batman look bad. And it obviously leads to their ultimate showdown. And again, as a Joker origin, it works really well. As a Batman movie, I still get enough Batman. It still works for me. Is this the definitive version? For folks my age, it probably still is. For you guys, you might still love Ben Affleck a little bit more. But for me, he had some big shoes to fill. And I think he did a great job. Robert Pattinson, I'm excited to see what they do with the character in that regard. Christian Bale had an amazing trilogy. Again, I'm not hating any of these other iterations of the character. Adam West, was the OG, and he had a unique spin on it, to say the least. But they all did the job, and they've all kind of carried the cow. And it really started with this guy, with this movie, and the success. I think that a lot of superhero movies in the genre can pay respects to one of the OGs. This movie, in spite of its flaws, achieves one thing. It made the general public know about and care about Batman, the Joker, DC Comics, superheroes, fill in the blank, whatever. It was a monumental success. The movie made a boatload of money. The merchandising was unbelievable. And it obviously spawned an entire franchise that's still going on today. And here soon we'll talk about its sequel, Batman Returns. But for now, I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. Is it perfect? No. But it's as iconic as they come, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and check it out. Still here. Go on. Video's over. Go on. Go on. See you next time. Like and subscribe. Comment. Let me know what you want to see. Thanks. Seriously, though, I'm going to call the cops. Bye.